Hello, good morning and welcome. This is forexforsteadyprofits.com. We use the Commitment of Traders report and the RSI to time our entry into the markets. And I'll show you the Commitment of Traders report and show how we use it on the charts. Okay, I'll just take you there now. Okay, this is the Commitment of Traders report in a graph form. So as we can see the history and the positions of the commercials here in red and the speculators in green. And what we're looking for is the commercials to take an opposite position to the speculators in an extreme position. As you can see from the past, whenever this has happened, you've had a sell-off. And what I use then is the RSI to time my positions in. We've had this really large divergence here, and I can go back years, and it's sort of like an extreme position. So I'm expecting to see a very big sell-off, but we use the RSI just to time the position in. Okay, so this is the Australian dollar US dollar chart for the same period, and we were looking for the Australian dollar to short against the US dollar, and from the from the RSI chart we put a trend line up, and when we got a break, we actually went short, and we got this nice move down here. The RSI came down, it sort of went up again, and we got another high there which got broken, and we got this very big move down, and then we had another move back up, and we got a sell signal here which gave us another move back down. On the members center, I do a divergence chart. I've got a divergence calculator which I use on the crosses, and the crosses give us a slightly better result, I believe. But anyway, that's the way I use the CFTC and the RSI combined to give me my entry positions, and we'll be looking at that over the coming weeks. Hello, good morning and welcome. This is the daily report, but as the Commitment of Traders is out late, I'm going to roll the two into one. It's Tuesday, the 28th of November, and it's just after 11 o'clock, and we'll start with the Australian dollar. We've seen the commercials where they've been directly opposed to the speculators, and we've had a nice fall down. We've had one pullback up here. We had a little bit of sideways motion there. We look like we've got the start of another pullback here, which I'm expecting to go up somewhere near the 77 mark. It hasn't quite done it for me where it is at the moment, and I expect the commercials to continue on down until about the zero line. But anyway, we'll see what happens, and we'll look at the chart now. Have the right chart always helps. I've input the new ratios in. So on the Australian dollar, we have a short ratio of 2.3 to 1. That's somewhat reduced, obviously, as we've had this quite big fall down. I was expecting a little bit of a pullback to about the 77 mark. So we'll wait and see what happens. But I've already got one trade in. I don't really want to put another one. I think there's a little bit more upside to this, and we'll watch and wait for a little bit. Right, next up we've got the British pound. Yep, anytime now. Yeah, British pound. We're actually at about the balance mark. There isn't a lot of there isn't a big ratio between the buyers and sellers on either the commercials or the speculators. So we've seen a little bit of a pullback in the price of the pound, and I'm expecting it really to sort of continue on down for a bit. I'm not really that convinced by the British pound, and I think there are better trades out there. We've seen it pull back up, and I'm expecting it to come down to about the 29 mark. If it does that, then I will be long. But at the moment, we have a short ratio on the commercials and a short ratio on the speculators. You know, we're above the 50 on the RSI and pointing down. We'll see what happens, but like I say, not one of my favorite trades. Next up, we've got the Canadian dollar. This is quite interesting because the commercials, we've had a little bit of a pullback and sideways motion for about the last 3 or 4 weeks, and we've actually seen the commercials have increased their bearish stance on the Canadian dollar, and we started to see oil prices come down, which affects the Canadian dollar because they're an oil producer. And also we've got murmurings from Russia. Now, I think basically they're going to continue pumping because really they need the money. So whatever OPEC do, if Russia does something different, then you know, it just upsets the whole apple cart. And they tend not to follow the OPEC rules anyway. So hey ho. Canadian dollar. We're expecting strength in this. Strength in the dollar, the US dollar, and weakness in the Canadian dollar. The oil prices are quite high at the moment, and they're just starting to come back down. We'll see how this goes, but I'm expecting much higher prices, eventually coming up to about the 135, 136 mark. So we'll watch that to see where it goes. The euro. This is actually quite interesting because we've seen a bearish position taken again by the commercials, and a bullish stance by the speculators, and they're opposite each other. We've had quite a bit of downwards sideways motion here. We've reached a new high, which is a few days before the Tuesday. So all I would expect is that the commercials have taken an even more bearish stance on this. So what we look at, the position we're looking at the moment, I view it as a really good sell. So I mean, if you're looking back to Tuesday when this came out, that's Tuesday, Monday, 1, 2, 3. It's somewhere around about here, and the commercials were bearish. They would be even more bearish up here. So we'll see how that goes. But I have just put another trade in at the moment as we fell below the resistance line. So hopefully that'll follow on through short, and I will be adding to that as it comes down. Japanese yen. The Japanese yen, the commercials are very bullish of this. I think actually if we look at a 5-year chart, and you look back and you can see some of the positions taken in the past, notably here and even here, where you know we had this really nice follow through. We're in a bullish position at the moment, and I am expecting far higher prices to unfold. And if we go and look at the chart, we've been down on support the last few days, just waiting for a breakdown, and I will be increasing my short positions. Done quite nicely with this. We got 4.27 to 1 long the Japanese yen, short the pair. So we'll see where that goes, but it is looking pretty good. Swiss franc. I think there's a lot of potential in this over the next few weeks. Again, I'm going to go onto a 5-year chart, and you can see how bullish the commercials are. I mean, if you look back, you know, things like this, when they were here, we got a very nice move up, and it did continue, although you know we had pullbacks. This position here, very nice move up, We've got a similar position here. I am expecting a good move up in the Swiss franc on basically everything. It's even been moving up against the US dollar. So here we go. Go onto the chart, have a quick look. Yeah, I got knocked out of a trade here at the bottom. I might just put that back in again. We have a commercials long ratio of 7.71 to 1. That's slightly increased from last week. So, you know, even when we're up there, we've come down nicely. Actually, I think it was here. It was here that the Tuesday last week, and obviously we've had this nice fall down, and we had a commercials long ratio of 7.71 to 1. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Mexican peso, again a very bearish stance. We've had quite a fall in the value of the peso. It's had a little bit of a rally back up, and the commercials have become more bearish of this currency. I don't trade that on GKFX. New Zealand dollar, in a bit of a quandary with this. I think basically the fundamentals, as far as I'm concerned, are short the New Zealand dollar and long the US dollar. We've actually got to a position where we're quite bullish of the New Zealand dollar over the US dollar. I'm not actually trading this at the moment. It looks like it ought to be bouncing back up, but I think the overall fundamentals are short for it, so I'm out. Yeah, we can look at it if you like. Yeah, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. It seems to have come down to a bit of a bottom at the moment. We're pointing nicely up through the RSI. We're just above the 50. This might just continue back up a nice rally, but like I say, I am actually, as far as I'm concerned, I think the fundamentals are bearish for it. Crude oil. Crude oil, again, if we go onto a 5-year chart and we look back, the commercials are very bearish of crude oil. So I am expecting a hard fall from up here. I think there's going to be a bit of trouble with the Russians. Russia desperately needs the oil revenue. So, you know, I think that they'll be looking to pump more oil. Silver. Silver, we are bearish silver. If you look back, you know, to this position here, which is about where we are at the moment, and we had this really nice fall off in the price, and you know, if you go back here, again another good fall off. Again here, really nice falls. I think silver, where it is at the moment, I am expecting a nice move down on it, but we'll see what happens. It hasn't happened yet, but anyway, that's it. So let's just have a look at silver on here. Just sideways motion at the moment. So I am expecting for a move down. If the dollar moves up or more strength in the dollar, then you know, you do see some weakness on the silver price. So we'll see where that goes, but hopefully we will get this trade going the right way. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you again tomorrow.